important thing here is that Cadmus and Danos are connected to the Hebrews in Egypt. Danos everywhere in Greek, in Greek poetry and Greek histories, because these are quoted from the very beginning of Greek writing as historical figures. Even though, regardless of what they existed, what is important here is what the Greeks believed about their origins and their history, right? Danos was the leader of the Danans who left Egypt and went to Greece. Cadmus, what was called a Phoenician, but here we see his origin is in Egypt. Why would he be called a Phoenician if his origin is in Egypt? Well, because he was certainly a Hebrew. Cadmus is the legendary founder of the city of Thebes, in Greece, and that was a Phoenician city, and the tragic Greek poets described the people of Thebes as being fair and blonde-headed people, and there's no doubt they were white, and later on Thebes actually sided. It was the only mainland Greek city that actually sided with the Persians in the Greek War, and didn't fare too well in the long run because of that. But basically we see Danos and Cadmus, two of the leading mythological figures in the founding of Greece. Well, we see them with their origin with the Hebrews in Egypt, and that's Diodorus Siculus. Because all of the Greek accounts give the Greek peoples as coming from the east, from Egypt, from Mesopotamia, their traditions, their lifestyles, all show their origin to be the Levant and the lands of the Bible. None of their traditions really have them as coming from Northern Europe, from a cold climate, from the forests of Germany, from beyond the Danube. And in fact, the Greeks, all the earliest Greeks, when they spoke about the land beyond the Danube, Herodotus said it was uninhabited. And he said it was uninhabitable. Strabo said that the lands north of the Danube were uninhabitable because of the cold. Diodorus Siculus would agree. All of the Greek writers would agree. The idea that Aryans came out of the northern climates and invaded the Mediterranean, it's a ridiculous idea because it flies in the face of all history. But what we see in Apollodorus is we see how married the Greeks were to their beliefs of their kindredness to these people called the Phoenicians, that their relations to Minos, that their relations to the people that came from Egypt, the Danos, the Danans, and Cadmus, the Phoenician. And we see that the Greeks themselves believed that their origins were in the Levant and in Egypt. And that was my point in quoting Apollodorus at length, what was to show how well ingrained that was into the Greek mind. You won't find one Greek writing which says that they came from Northern Europe, from beyond the Danube, from Western Europe, or from any other place where all of these Jew-loving clowns that call themselves historians would imagine that they came from. And the problem is the Jewish problem. That's the problem. The Jews, by asserting a false identity for themselves as the Israelites and Hebrews of Scripture, have polluted all academia. And anybody who makes the suggestion that the Greeks came from the Israelites or from the Hebrews of Egypt is basically labeled a nut job and branded in academia. Even when they're Jews, and there have been Jewish scholars that have made that admission, because it's impossible to deny. Of course, those same Jewish scholars will twist the truth about other things and still try to maintain the false Jewish identity of themselves. But the Greeks, the Greek writings clearly show that they had an origin in the East and with the Hebrews of Egypt.